Hey everybody, so in this lesson we're going to talk about volume of prisms and cylinders. So by the end you should be able to find the volume of prisms and you should be able to find the volume of cylinders. Yeah! Alright, so what is volume? The volume of a three-dimensional figure is the number of non-overlapping unit cubes of a given size that will exactly fill the interior. So there's something called Cavaliere's principle. It says that if two three-dimensional figures have the same height and they have the same cross-section area at each level, then they have the same volume. So if you look at the picture down here, this is a right prism, and over here this is called an oblique prism. It's tilted. So the triangles in both of them, they both have the same area, and they both have the same height, therefore they have the same volume. So the volume of a prism, these are the formulas. So the volume of a prism with base area B and height H is just area of the base times the height. Same thing goes for rectangular prisms and cubes. You would just find the area of the base by doing length times width and then multiplying it by the height. And then same thing with the cube, length times width, which would be side times side times side, because all the sides are the same. So length times width times height is just side times side times side. So we'll go through 5 examples. The first one, this is a we have a rectangular prism. So the base is a rectangle. So the shape is just basically a bunch of rectangles stacked 5 centimeters high. So we find the area of this bottom rectangle by doing 13 times 3, and then we multiply it by the height, which is 5. So our formula, length times width times height, which is 13 times 3 times 5, and that comes out to be 195. And since we did centimeters times centimeters times centimeters, that's centimeters cubed, so our unit has to be centimeters to the third power. All right, our next example, find the volume of a cube with an edge length of 15. So that means that all 3 dimensions are 15 because it's a cube. So the base would be 15 times 15 and the height would be 15. So we're just going to do 15 times 15 times 15. And that becomes 3,375 cubic inches. All right, our next example, find the volume of a triangular prism with a height of 9 yards and whose base is a right triangle with legs 7 and 5. So since the legs are 7 and 5 and it's a right triangle, that means that the base and height of that triangle are 7 and 5. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height. So we're going to do 1/2 times 7 times 5 times the height, which is 9. So 1/2 times 5 times 7 times 9, that comes out to be 157.5 cubic yards. All right, Cavaliere's principle also relates to cylinders. So if you look at our one stack of CDs, this is a regular cylinder. And then if we look at the one on the right, this one's a tilted cylinder. As you can see, the base of both is just a CD. So they both would have the same area. And as you can also see, the height is the same, even though it's tilted a little bit. So they would have the same volume. So the volume of a cylinder is the area of the base times the height. So it's the area of the circle, which is pi times the radius squared times the height. So here's an example of that. This circle has a diameter of 18 inches. So that means the radius would be 9 inches. So we're going to do pi times the radius squared. That would be pi times 9 squared. And then multiply that by the height, which is 14. So pi times 9 squared times 14. That comes out to be 1,134 pi inches cubed. And then if we want to round that to the 10th, we multiply 1,134 times pi. And that comes out to be 3,562.6 cubic inches. All right, and then our next one, find the volume of a cylinder with a diameter of 16 and a height of 17. So if the diameter is 16, that means the radius is 8 inches. So we're going to do pi times 8 squared times 17. If we multiply through with the numbers, that comes out to be 1,088 pi. And if we multiply 1,088 times pi, that comes out to be approximately 3,418.1 cubic inches. All right, so that's how we find the volume of cylinders and prisms. If you have any questions, let us know. Have a good day.